How much does fame and fortune cost? This question has been eating away at my guts for many years, and it is a question that unfortunately I have found the answer to. Moderate wealth and even fame alone are much less expensive. Through dedication and hard work, you can achieve both and create something that will bring you income. The dedication required, however, is so excessive that one could even characterize it as psychosis, and this varies from creating a successful startup business to making millions from YouTube videos. But there is a problem. Even this moderate wealth requires many years of hard work and dedication. Of course, if that satisfies you, you can follow this path. Don't make my mistake. All the above sacrifices and working hours were not enough for me. No, I had a gluttonous desire for two things: fame and fortune, but I wanted it the easy way. I had neither the motivation nor the desire to waste my years building a business. I wanted the easy way to instant success. It honestly wasn't that hard for me, because he can feel it. He knows if you're really desperate enough to commit a bunch of atrocities to get what you want. I remember very clearly the night I sold my soul. And no, it's not some myth. The devil is real, and I didn't even have to look for him. Or rather, I looked for her. She found me. I imagine my soul was awash with despair. She appeared to me in a bar. All the while, I was staring at the beautiful women gathering around the well-dressed, handsome man who had just gotten out of his Jaguar. I never saw her enter the bar or approach me. I turned my head, and she was just standing next to me. Needless to say, she was so beautiful. The way the red lights of the bar illuminated her eyes and jet black hair was unique. I tried to think of something to say to her, but before I could say a word, she playfully leaned towards me. Our lips were inches apart.
I know what you want.
She whispered to me, caressing my cheek.
I know your dreams and I can make them come true. I can give you everything.
After a short pause, I covered the space between us. As soon as our lips touched, the bar and the patrons around me disappeared in a puff of black smoke. I found myself sitting in a dark movie theater. The red seats were empty. It was just me and this beautiful woman, scared and confused by what had just happened. I tried to step aside. My first thought was that they had slipped something paralyzing into my drink.
Sit down and watch.
She told me. The lights dimmed and the screen came to life. I obeyed her commands and started watching. The big screen showed me but a different version of myself. Instead of starting with me in my miserable apartment, it showed me as a star in my wildest dreams. I was beautiful, rich, famous. I drove cars more expensive than the average citizen's house. I lived in a mansion and always drove around with two models by my side. Those who saw me were shouting my name with joy and begging me for an autograph or a photo. The video stopped abruptly and showed how easily women rejected me when I at least had the guts to approach them. It showed how bad my body had become and how addicted I was to drinking. And finally, it showed me all alone in my ugly and cold apartment, with the only social contact was the prostitutes I could barely afford. I started crying hysterically in that theater. Seeing the ugliness of your life on the big screen fills you with suicidal thoughts. I looked at the beautiful temptation next to me. She was also staring at me intently and seemed to enjoy my desperation. "Who are you?" I asked after wiping away my tears in embarrassment.
Come on, you already know who I am and what I can do for you.
She was right. We knew very well what was happening. It was the devil himself. Before this incident, I had my doubts about whether he really existed, but I was looking for an opportunity to make a deal in every way. And finally, he came and found me. He didn't even have to ask me if I was willing to go ahead. He knew the answer. In a new wave of black smoke, the cinema disappeared. Now I was sitting in a black room with many video cameras aimed at the center of the space. Very concisely, he explained to me what I would have to do to obtain the improved version of myself that I so desperately sought. The reality that he promised to give me. Without much ado, I accepted the terms, without even thinking about it. What I did next is one of the most heinous and horrible things anyone could do. They were so terrible that I will never talk about them to anyone. I can't explain to you the feeling of shame that I now carry with me every day, knowing what I have done and who I have intentionally and selfishly harmed. I think that the fact that I did all these atrocities to gain fame and fortune proves, beyond doubt, that I am a real monster. I wish I could tell you that he pressured me to move on, but I would be lying to you. I had a choice. I could have gotten up and left on the spot and gone back to my miserable little life. I had a choice to set goals for the new year and start working on them. The normal thing, but I didn't. Instead, I used the last moment of free will in my life to choose to do terrible things in exchange for fame and glory. She enjoyed every second of my actions. After I was done, he placed a large piece of parchment on a black table. It was the contract. I didn't even bother to read it. I obeyed her orders once again, held the knife tightly, and willingly bent my palm. The blood that spilled on the contract was my signature. The deal was done, as was the sale of my soul. The devil stamped the contract with a smile on his face, and for one last time, the place disappeared into black smoke. The next morning, I woke up thinking that this had all been a very vivid dream. With a sense of disappointment, I got out of bed and went to the bathroom. After splashing water on my face, I looked in the mirror to see how my body had changed. Finally, it had really happened. A smile lit up my face. I was more beautiful than I could have imagined. I was the version of myself that the devil had shown me in the movies. I picked up my phone to see that I had a message on my voicemail from someone I had now registered as my manager. He told me that the devil had assigned me to him and that I had an appointment with the record company the next day. Following his instructions, I found the plane ticket on the kitchen table next to an expensive wristwatch. In the closet, a custom-made suit was waiting for me, and next to it was a suitcase full of designer clothes that I would have to work at least 10 months to be able to buy. I put on the suit and the watch, took the suitcase, and left my miserable apartment once and for all. Outside, a luxurious car with a chauffeur was waiting for me to take me to the airport. Within a few months, my album was released, breaking every record, and I immediately had it all: beauty, fame, good fortune, and all of that, along with the new talents she had given me. Now I live in a mansion with security and dozens of expensive cars in my garage. My bank account had 9 digits, and I am constantly surrounded by celebrities and beautiful women. And of course, every time I walk among people, there is chaos, as everyone wants an autograph or even a handshake with me. Oh, if only they knew what those hands had done. Maybe it seems like I really have it all. However, there is something I have lost and will never have again: my free will. I am forced to do whatever they ask of me. I wear what they tell me to wear. I sing what they tell me to sing. I say what they tell me to say. I go where they tell me to go, and so on. Think that even on Twitter, I upload what they tell me to upload. Like so many others before me, I am simply a puppet of the devil. The worst thing of all, however, is that the atrocities I told you about didn't happen just once. If I had read the contract, you see, I would have known about it. So once a year I am obliged to repeat them, with the difference that now I have no choice but to back out. I tried to refuse once, but she reminded me that my soul belongs to her, and with a simple movement of her hand, unbearable pain took over my entire body. Pain that you have never imagined anyone could experience. I begged her to stop.
Refuse again if you want,
He warned me.
and I will tear your soul into 1,000 pieces.
So to conclude, I return to our main question. How much are you willing to sacrifice for fame, money, and fortune?